So in this video, we are going to learn about Python strings, right? So now let us start with. So what is string in Python? So string is a collection of characters in Python. So we can include that into either double quotes or a single quotes, right? So that's called as a string. So let us see programmatically what is string and how we can declare the string and what kind of different operations we can do on strings. Now let me open PyCharm. So I'm going to create a new file, Python file here. I will just name it as a string operations. Okay, let's okay. Now here I will create strings. How to create the strings? Creating strings. So we can create strings in two different ways in Python. So the one is we can directly specify the variable, and here in the double quotes I can just say name, some string value. So this is a string. So string means a collection of characters, and this is also right. Or I can also create a string like this. Let's say name is equal to, in the single quote I can just say the name. This is also right. But in Python we don't have specific type for characters. Okay, so if you want to still store characters, we can just say name is equal to, in the single quote I can just say some character like this. So this is also right. Okay, now either we can go for first way, second way, or third way. So either double quotes or single quotes, both are allowed in Python. Now let me just print this value. Okay, how to print this value of this variable? I can just use a print command, print of name. Now this will print to exactly the name whichever we have given into that variable. So this is a one way of defining the variable. Either we can put in the double quote or in the single quotes. Perfectly right. So this is the approach one. This is approach one. Now I'll show you one more approach to create the string. So this is a hash. This is a comment. Okay. So I'll show you one more approach to how to declare strings. It's very simple again. Let me take one more variable called name1. So equal to, right, equal to str of, and in the double quotes here we can specify the string. Let's say I just says welcome. So name is equal to str of, in the bracket we can just specify the string in the double quotes. This is also perfectly right. So here I can just print this value of this variable, print of name1. Now when I run this code, it will give you exactly the same thing. Okay, so this is a approach 2. So this is approach 1 and this is approach 2. So in two approaches we can just create a string variables. Okay, now in Python, okay, strings are immutable. In Python strings are immutable. So what is immutable? Once a string is created, it cannot be modified, so that is called as immutable. So in Python strings are immutable. So immutable means once the string is created, it cannot be modified, so that is called as immutable. So here what I can do is, let's create two strings like this, and let us find out where these strings are stored in the memory. So in Python we have a method called as a id method, which will return the memory location where exactly the string is stored. Okay, now here I will take two strings, str1 and str2, and then I will get the id of these particular two strings. Okay, so these two strings will be pointing to the same object. So because these values are exactly the same, right? So it will point to it will create a memory location as soon as I created these variables, but it will point to the same location. So when I ping the location of these two strings, it will exactly give the same value. Okay, and later I will change one of this string value, or I will update something. Now what happens? So we will see programmatically this. Let me just open Python. So whether these variables or strings are immutable or not, we can verify programmatically. Now here, so I'm just closing this one. So I'm going to create another file, new Python file. So here I will just say string mutable. So I'll just name it as a string mutable. So let us verify whether strings are mutable or not. So mutable means once we assign that value, we cannot be modified. So that is called as a mutable function, right? Now here I will define a function called str1 is equal to, I'll create a welcome. So this is the first string I have created. Similarly, I will create one more string variable str2 is equal to same thing again, so now I have created two different variables. Means as soon as I created variable means it will occupy memory, right? So here I have created the same value, right? So that means it will point to only single object in the memory. str1 and str2 both will point to the a single memory, single point of contact. So here, suppose whether it is immutable or not, we will see. Before that, let us get the memory locations for these two variables. So how to get the memory locations? By using id. Let's say id of str1. So id of str1. Now let's print this location of the str1 string 1. Let's say print id of str1. Okay, now let's run this. So this is giving 48329728. Let's capture this location and keep it here, right? Now similarly, I will also find out the location of str2 location. Now let's run this again. So this will give you a different stuff, right? So this is the first one, and this time it is changed. See now. So this is a for str1, right? And this is a for sorry, this is str2, right? Let me run once again. I did a mistake. Now run this. Now you see this, both are exactly the same, right? So that means both the things, like both the variables are pointing to the same location, right? So this is how we have to specify, and this is the address of the str2 now, right? So now as soon as I created two strings, it is pointing to the same location. Now let us change the value of str2. So what I can do is I can just append something to the str2. Then what happens? Let us see. str2 equal to, I'll trying to change the value of str2. Okay, in Python variables are immutable, right? Immutable means it cannot allow us to change the values. If I change the value, immediately memory location will be also changed. So str2 is equal to str2 plus I'll just append something called to Python. Okay, so whatever string we already have welcome, so for this I'm just adding one more. So let's now find out the id of the string 2. Let's find out the id of both again, and let's see what happens second time. Okay, now after changing the str2 value, I am again getting the locations. Now let's run this program. Now we can observe clearly. So first time what it is written, 6512, fine. So this is 6512, and now second time 6512. So 6512 is exactly the same, because both are same first time, so it is giving exactly the same. Now what I have done is I have changed the str2 now, but str1 is same exactly. So if you see str1, it is still remains the same, right? So I have changed str2, right? So what happens now? str2, it is created the different memory location. So automatically str2 is changed. Memory location of str2 is changed because I have appended something to the existing one. So it's created a different memory location and then it is appended here. So it gives a different memory location. So it clearly says like it is a immutable. So strings are immutable. Okay, so this is a concept of string. Now let's move on to the next concept, is operations on string. So what are the different operations we can perform on the strings? So normally in the strings, the index is start from 0. Suppose if I have welcome, so the index of the first value will be 0. So index start from 0. And here we have to use plus or star. There are two operators we have in Python. So by using these operators, we can perform certain operations on strings. Let us see what are the different operations we can do on strings. Now let me go to PyCharm again. Right, so I will create another file, Python file. So I will name it as a operations, string operations, and okay. Okay, see, I think file is already existed. Okay, so it is already there. Okay, let me just remove the stuff. So what I can do is I will just use two operators here. One is a plus and the other one is a star. So what is use of plus and star? So plus is normally used for concatenation. Okay, concatenation. And star is used for repeating the same thing multiple times. Let me show you here. I'll take a string variable str. Let's say here my value is welcome. So str is equal to welcome. Now I will append something to the existing string. So what I can do is str plus is a concatenation operator. Here I will write something called to programming. Now the overall value I am just printing by using a print function. So here what plus will do is plus will just concatenate the new stuff into existing string. Now when I run this code, it will give you welcome to programming. So this is basically concatenation. Concatenation. And star. So star is used for printing the same thing multiple times. So for example, here when I say print str into, let's say 3 here. Okay, now what happens is the same string whichever we have stored here welcome will be printed 3 times. Now let's run this and see. Here we can see welcome is repeated 3 times. Similarly, if I say 10 times here, so 10 times will be repeated. Now when I run this, 10 times will be repeated. So this is a plus and star can be used to perform certain string operations. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, slicing string. So how we can do the slicing? So we can take subset of a string from original string by using bracket operator, also known as a slicing operator. This is called as a slicing operator. Slicing means we can get or extract the substring from the actual string or from the original string. That is called as a slicing. So if you want to do slicing, we have to use these brackets. So let me show you how we can do that through programmatically. So go to PyCharm. Now I'm removing this one and clear this. Right. So here I'm going to show you how to use slicing. How to do slicing on strings. So here I will define a string variable called as a str equal to, I'll say welcome. Right. So here I want to get a substring from this particular string. What I can do is I'll just say str of this is a slicing operator. Right here from where we need to start, where we need to end. So the starting index, ending index we have to tell. Let us say 1 colon 3. So this is starting index and this is the ending index. So what this will return? So let's print this value by using print function. Print of str 1 colon 3. So what this will return? Now let's run this code. And now we can see EL is written. So here if I see the index, W is a 0, E is a 1. Right? So from the 1, 3 is the last index. So 0, 1, 2 and C is the 3. C is the 3. Right? So from 1 to 3. So whatever characters we have, only EL. 0, 1, 2, 3. So between 1 and 3, how many characters we have? Only EL we have. So that's written EL. So 0, 1. From the 1, again 3 characters. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so here 1 comma 3. So 1, 0, W0, 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, so here 3 will be considered as n minus 1. So it will just return as a EL. And similarly, let's see if I print something like this. str colon 6. So what this will return now? So here we haven't specified anything, so it will be considered as a 0. Okay, and 6 is the last string. So how what it will print from 0 to 6 letters. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So last value 6 will be eliminated. So till M it will be printed. So WELCO and E will be printed. Okay. So similarly, I will show you one more combination. Let's say this one. Print str4 colon. So here starting value is a 4. Starting index is 4. After colon there is no ending index. So that means it will print till end but minus 1. So let's see. 4 means this is 0, 1, 2, L is 2, 3, right? And 4. So it will start from O. So till end. So what is the end here? E is the end. So OME will be printed. Okay, so these are all slicing functions in Python. So we can use this bracket operator to do the slicing. So the next one is, let's move on to the next one is ORD and the CHR functions. So this is very easiest function. So ORD function returns the ASCII code of the character, and the character CHR function returns the ASCII number for that character. So these are basic examples. So ORD of A. So A is a character. The ASCII code for that character A is 65. And suppose if you pass 65 to character function, it will return the exact character. It's very simple. Now let's try it in PyCharm. So here I'll just say ORD is a function. So here I will pass something. Let's say I'll pass Z. Okay, and this will give you ASCII characters. Let's print that ASCII characters. Print ORD of Z. Okay, now let's run this code. So it gives a 90, right? So it gives a 90. And similarly, CHR function will return the character based on the ASCII value. So let's see CHR function. So here I will pass 90 again. So let's see what this will return. So print CHR of 90. Now this will return exactly. So the Z. So Z is returned. So these are all about ORD and character functions. Now let's move on to the next category, string functions in Python. So there are three categories of functions we have. One is len function, max function, and minimum function. So the len function returns the length of the string, and maximum functions returns the character having highest ASCII value in the string, and minimum function will returns the character having lowest ASCII value in the string. Okay. Now if you see this example, I have used length method, and hello is a string. So how many characters we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. So 5 it is written. So length function returns the length of a string. Similarly, max function will returns the character having highest ASCII value. So for the ABC, C is having highest ASCII value, so it is written C. Again in the same ABC, minimum function find out the lowest ASCII value, and finally it returns A. Okay, so len function, maximum function, and minimum function. So these functions will be used with the strings. Let me show you in PyCharm. Right, so here let's find out. So here I will just create a string. Let's say str is equal to, let's say, welcome. Right, so now let me find out what is the length of the string and maximum and minimum. So first of all, length of the string. So len of str. So it will give you length of a string. Just I will print that value. So print length of str. And similarly, I will also find out the maximum of string. And also I will find out the minimum of string. Minimum of a string. So str, right? So this is str. Now let's run this code. So how many characters we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters we have. So 7 it is written. So in the welcome, the maximum ASCII value we have with the W. So W is written. And the same string, the minimum ASCII value we have with the E. So it is written, C. So it returns C as the output. So we have three functions, string functions, len function, maximum function, and minimum function. Right, so now let's move on to the next category, in and not in operators in Python. So in and not in operators, so what these functions will do is, you can use in and not in functions operators to check existence of a string in another string. So they're also known as a membership operators. So here I have taken a string called welcome. So here I am verifying whether this particular part of the string is available inside the S1 or not. So COME is already there in this part, so it is written true. And similarly, the same string I have used here, COME, and I have used not in operator. So come is not in S1. So is it true? No, right? It is already there. So it is not in, it returns a false here. This is a negative operator. So in operator, not in operator. Let us see this programmatically. So here I will create a string is equal to s welcome. Again, same string. Now here I will use in operator and not in operator. Let's see how we can use it. So first one, so let's say print, right? So what is a string? str is a string. String in str is the actual string, right? So here I will just specify the string. Let's say wel. Wel is in str. So will it return true or false? So wel is a part of the string. It is there in the str. So this should return true. And similarly, when I say print, okay, so here this is a negative operator. Suppose something called xyz. Again, I use in operator in str. So what this should return? So xyz is not part of welcome, so it should return false. Should return false, right? So now let us run this. So true and false. And similarly, we can also use not in operator. Let's say print, okay, and again I'll take welcome wel in str. So what this should return? This should return not in, right? So I will just choose not in operator and str. This should return false because, as I said, not in is a negative operator. So well is a part of welcome, but I'm saying not in. So this should return false. And similarly, I will just say something else called xyz. So xyz not in str. Yes, xyz is not in str. So this should return true. Now, when I run this code, it's exactly give false and true, the last two statements output. Okay, so this is about in and not in operators of strings. Next, string comparison. String comparison. So how to compare the strings? So we have few operators here: greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Here both are same. Actually, this is greater than or equal to, double equal to, and not equal to. So these operators we can use to compare the strings. So Python compares the strings lexicographically, that is using ASCII value of the characters. If it is a number, we can easily say which one is larger, which one is lower, right? But in the strings, right, how we will say, suppose here I have welcome. So which one is higher, which one is lower, how we will say based on the ASCII value of that particular characters, right? So let us, I'll show you how we can use these string comparison operators by taking few strings here. So let's go to PyCharm again. So here I'll write a few statements. Let's try this. Right. So here, let's see the first statement. So what is the first string I have given? Tim. So this string I am comparing with the type TIE. Right. So how it will verify whether these are equal or not? So first it will always check with the first characters. Okay, if the first character is exactly the same, then it will go to the next character. So here the next character is also same. Now it will check M and type, M and E. So again it will verify the ASCII value for M and E. So the ASCII value of M and E is not exactly the same, not equal. So it will consider the overall string is not equal. So finally it returns a false. Now let us see the second example. So here I have said free and here it has said freedom. I am saying not equal to, not equal to. So free is not equal to freedom. So how it will verify? The first four characters are exactly same in both the strings, but in the second string DOM is additionally added and there is no corresponding characters in the first string. So it is exactly not equal to freedom, so it is returns true. Now a greater than. So greater than, again we verify the ASCII numbers internally. So now we can see the two strings. The first string is an arrow, the second string is ARON. So here in the both the strings, first two characters are exactly the same. Now it will verify the third character R, here third character O. So if I see R and O, okay, R is a having greater number, greater ASCII number. So that's the reason it is giving arrow greater than RN is it true. Okay, and similarly right and left. So if you see this example, the first character is R, second character is L. First character is R, second character is L. It's giving greater than or equal to. So obviously R is a greater than L. So it gives a true here. Again teeth and T, less than it is giving. So teeth, the first three characters are exactly same as this, and in the first string TH is exactly extra is there. So it is not at all less than T. So it gives a false. And the next example, yellow and fellow. Now if you observe this, these characters ELLOW is exactly same, but first character will be different. So here y is less than or equal to f, no, right? So it is written false. And finally ABC is comparing with the empty. So ABC is always here empty means nothing. So ABC is having some characters. That means they have some ASCII code. So that number is obviously greater than this one. So it returns true. So like this we can use comparison operators in strings. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one, iterating string using for loop. So we can also iterate this string multiple times. Okay, we can print multiple times the same string. Let us see how we can iterate a string by using for loop. Let me just go to PyCharm once again, and here I will create a string variable. Let's say ser, right? Or let's say s is equal to something called I'll just print something called Python. Okay, this is my string. So now I'm writing the for loop here. Let's see how we can write for loop. For let me take one temporary variable in s. Right. So here press enter. Just I will print the value of yes. Right. Now what happens? Let us see. Okay. So I in s, and here we need to put the colon. So syntactic. Now let's run this code and see how many times the Python is printed. So based on how many characters we have in this string, so those many times it is repeated. See now. So in yes, how many characters we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters we have. 6 characters we have totally. So the first character ASCII value will be stored in I. Now it will print value of s here directly. Or you can just print I here. Now let's see what happens. Now run this. Now you can see exactly it is printed each and every character, right? So we can extract one by one each and character, and we can just print that value. We can just print that value. So we can also iterate the string. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters we have. So each and every character from the S will be stored in I, and I will be printed here. Okay. Suppose if I say instead of I can just say directly string here. The string will be printed 6 times because we have 6 characters here. So string will be printed in 6 times. Okay. So this is also we can do like iterative the string. So based upon number of characters. So how many characters we have? So those many number of times it will print. Okay. So the next concept we are going to discuss is testing strings. So testing strings. So here we have again few methods. These are all inbuilt methods we have in Python. Let us see how we can use this. So is all num, is all pa, and is digit, is identifier, is lower, is upper, is fixed. So every function is having its own purpose. So here the first function is num, right, returns the true if the string is alphanumeric, and is alpha method will returns true if string contains only alphabets, and is digit is a function which will return true if the string contains only digits, and is identifier will return true is if the string is valid identifier, and is lower function will returns true if the string is lowercase. Then is upper is returns true if the string is uppercase. Similarly, is space will returns true if the string contains only white space, means there is no string there. So that's empty string. Okay. So let us see how we can use this function with examples in PyCharm. Let's go to PyCharm. Now here I will create a uh, I will create a one second. Yeah, I'll create a string here. S is equal to welcome to Python. This is my string. So now I will use all the functions one by one. So let's see what this will return. So here I'm just copying the code. So s dot is all num. Okay, is or num. So what this will return? So this particular string is having alphanumeric characters. So alphanumeric means the correction of characters as well as numbers. So is it alphanumeric or not? If it is alphanumeric, it will return true. If it is not alphanumeric, it returns false. So basically, as per our expectation, it should return false because it doesn't have any alphanumeric values. See now the second example. Welcome is my string. Dot is alpha means Is this string contains alphabetical alphabets? Yes, right? All are alphabets. So it is returns the true. And now see this one. So 2012 dot is digit. So is digit function verify whether this contains the numbers or not. So it contains some numbers or digits, right? So it returns true. And now is this, see this one. First number, this is a string. Is an identifier? No, this is not an identifier, right? That means it is not a number. So it returns false. Now dot is lower, is lower. So S contains this one, complete one. So is it lower? So all the stuff, all the characters in the string is lower. Yes, everything is a lower. So it returns lower. So that is returns true because all of them are lower. Now similarly, here I have given one more example. So welcome is my string which contains all uppercase letters. Is it upper? Means is it contains all uppercase letters? Yes. So it returns true. Now here I haven't specified any string, all are spaces. So I'm verifying is this space or not? Yes, it is a space. So it returns true. So these are all different functions we have for string. Let us run this code and see whether we are getting expected or not, right? First one is false, second is true, next is true, next is false, next true, true and true. So we are getting exactly the same. So these are the few more functions we have to find out whether the numbers are exactly or alphanumeric or not, or it contains the only alphabets, or it contains the digits, or it contains the lowercase letter, or it contains the uppercase letter, or we have spaces. So if you want to verify them, so we can go and use these methods. So testing strings, and then we have few more functions like searching for substring. So here we can use end with, start with, we have different functions, ends with, starts with, count function, find function, rfind function. So every function is having own purpose. Now let us see this example. S is equal to welcome to Python. This is actual string. Now what's the first function? Ends with. So ends with thon. So this string is exactly ends with the thon, right? So it returns true. Perfectly right. Now s dot starts with, it's saying good. So whether is this starting with the good? No, right? It should return false. Now s dot find function. So find function verify whether COME is there in the whole string or not. So COME is present here. So where it is present, that location it will return. So where it is located, 1, 2, right? So here the index will start from 0, right? So 0, 1, 2 and the third position. From the third position the COME is located. So it will give you a starting index where the COME is started. Now similarly, S dot find BECOME. So where the BECOME started, COME is there, but there is no BE, right? So it's giving -1. That means it is not able to find this one in the string. Now R find. So R find means so here this is R find. So R find means returns the highest index number, returns the highest index number from where S1 start in the string. Okay, if string not found, returns -1. In the previous case also, this is not found in the actual string, so that it is returns minus. Find function. Now our find function will also do the same thing, but it is little different. So the first one find function will verify the where the index is started, but the second function our find function will return the maximum highest index where the O is started. So if you see the welcome to Python, the where the O is comes under, here it is come one time, here it is come one time, here it is come one time. So what is the last index of O here? When I count here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, space is 7, 8, 9, one more space is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here we found the maximum index. So that will be returned. So R find returns the highest index from where S1 starts in the string. If string not found, it returns -1. And count is another function. So it will find out how many times this O is repeated in whole string. So how many times O is occurred? This is one time, second time and third time. So 3 times it is repeated. So it returns count as 3. So this is how we can just use functions. These are comes under searching functions of strings. Okay. Now let's move on to the next type of functions, the converting functions, conversion functions. And we have few functions like capitalize, lower, upper, title, swap case, and replace functions. Let us see how we can use these functions one by one. So here the capitalize is a function which will uh, return the complete string after capitalization. Capitalization means first letter should be capital. And the title, so title s dot title will return exactly the title format. In the title, normally every word will start with the uppercase letter, right? So it will return exact title case. And the lower function will return all the characters in a string in the lower case, and upper function will return all the characters in uppercase, and swap case will return all the characters lower to higher, higher upper to lower, lower to upper, so it will convert both. Now replace function replaces certain characters or string into different characters. Okay, these are the converting functions. Let me try in the PyCharm. Let's go to PyCharm. So here I will just write a few statements and let us see how we can work with this. So here, so I have taken a string called string in Python. This is overall string. Okay. So capitalization means the first character will be capital, rest of them all are small letters. So this is how it will return. And the title means every word will start with the uppercase letter in the string. So that is the title will return. So s dot lower means it will return it will convert all the characters into lowercase, and upper means it will convert all the characters into uppercase, and swap case will convert upper to lower, lower to upper cases, and replace function will replace certain characters or strings into some other characters or string. And at the final end, I am just printing the string as it is. Okay. Now let's run this code. Now you can see here exactly we found the same thing. String in Python, string in Python. And string in Python here, string in Python. So here every word is start with the uppercase letter. And then lower function. So lower function return complete stuff in lowercase letter. So this is a lowercase. And this is upper function value. And swap case. So if you see here, S is uppercase is there in actual string, it is converted into lowercase. And in Python completely in uppercase, in actual string here completely converted into lowercase. Even in is also completely lowercase, it is converted into uppercase. That is called as a swap case. So lower to upper, upper to lower, and then replace. So in this particular string, in is replaced with on, right? So here in is replaced with on, and then so last I have printed string as it is. So string in Python. So it is printed actual string. So these are also string functions comes under conversion portions, converting the strings. Okay. So these are all list of functions we have to perform string operations in Python. Okay. So that's all for this video. So thank you all. Please subscribe my channel to get more updates on this.